Okay, so before going to start this data science, what is data science and all? So let me give you a small example. Yeah, and before that, so by default, all of the participants are in mute. And if you have any query, so you just try to use the chat box, and we have a separate session at the end of this webinar. There we can discuss about your questions. Okay. Yeah. Now let's start. Okay. The question is, what is the main purpose of life, and why? So why are we working very hard day and night? What is the main reason? The reason is we wanted to have a quality life. How to get the quality life? The quality life depends upon the type of decision what you made. Let's say, for example, you want to go to office by 9 o'clock and you started at 8 o'clock. And due to traffic, and it takes you around 2 hours. So by the time you are tired and your whole day might become chaos. If you have the started to go to office by 7 o'clock and you might be reached office by 8, and you will be more energetic and you can complete all of your tasks, and the quality of day is very good for you. But how do you know the traffic exists between 8 to 9 or the 7 to 8? It's based on the information. So what is the information? Information is nothing but which exists in the form of a data, right? Or someone might have told you. So during this time, the traffic is very less and you can reach your office within a short span of time without any hurdles, right? So to summarize it, everyone in this world are working very hard to improve their quality of life. The quality of life depends upon the type of decisions what they take at the right time. So here it is the data science, which is going to help you out how to take the decision, which is every time going to enhance the quality of your life, right? So now let's start. Let's jump into this data science and what are the today's contents. For this webinar, I'm going to cover what is data science and why do we need data science. So what is the existence of this data science, followed by where and all we can apply this data science and how it is going to help various businesses in different domains. And if you want to become a successful data scientist, and what are the qualities that you have, and what is your a day at your work as a data scientist, and followed by a few use cases, therein you can come to know the end-to-end data science problem and its solution, followed by Q&A. So wherein if you have any queries, so we can discuss in depth details. Okay, so before going to jump into the data science, probably you know what is data and how it is increasing. So if you look at this chart, right, just from the past 2 decades, the data which is generated by the devices is very, very minimal. And due to advances in the technology, the amount of data that is growing is much faster and it's become exponential. So when I say the exponential, the data is becoming doubling every year, right? And in the earlier 2000, so the max data what we can handle is like in terms of the petabytes. Now it becomes the exabyte and the zettabyte. So by looking at this picture, maybe going forward in the near future, the data is going to be very huge. And if the data is becoming very huge, so what to do there, right? So if you want to store the data somewhere to utilize it, you believe me, nowadays, who is the world leader is the one who is having the huge amount of data. Now he's going to rule the world. Just trust me. So now it is going to be, it is already happening and it is going to be happen. So that is the value of the data. So it's a kind of turmoil. And other thing, like in this slide, which talks about the data is being generated, right? So where it is going. So if you look at again 90s, so I was using like CD drives to store the data. But if I want to store my data in the CD drives, I need to spend some amount. So the price what I spent for the CD drives, and with that I can able to just hold very minimal amount of data. And if you want to store huge amount of data, I need to spend more amount, right? So during those days and during those time, many organizations were reluctant to spend huge amount of money on the storage because they feel that the data is may not be useful for them in the near future. But due to advances in the technology, like cloud technologies, so wherein you can store all of your data virtually and with a very limited or with a very cheap price. So if you look at this plot, the green colored one tells us the cost per GB until 1997, like there is a decrement, and thereafter, nowadays, with the help of even little price, you can able to store huge amount of data. Now the organization started, since there is advances in the technology, so why can't I store the amount of data in the storage system? Right? So then just started and they keep on storing the data and all data. So after particular time, they feel that, okay, now I have the huge amount of data. What is next? So is it really helping me? Or am I simply wasting my money by storing this huge amount of data in the storage systems? Right? So you not only spending amount for storage, you also spend some amount for the maintenance as well. Right? So now that question arises them. So to come up with, so what can be done with this data? So that is the point where many organizations started. Why don't we extract useful information from the data that is going to help their businesses in terms of yielding the profits? So when I say the yielding the profits, nothing but it is indirectly or eventually going to improve the quality of life. So if they have the more data and they can extract more information, and with the help of more information, they can take the right decisions. Right? So that is the like ultimate goal of this data science. And you believe or not me, many of us who all attended in this webinar session, all are the data scientists. Why? Because every day, many of you are taking a decision. So the person who is taking the decision is nothing but a data scientist. But the person who is taking the decision is simply based on his past data. Let's say, for example, if you want to go to office tomorrow, so probably you just look at what was the traffic today and day before yesterday. So he may not remember what has happened in the last month and last year, right? So if you want to work on the huge amount of data, so you certainly need certain kind of tools and machine learning algorithms, which are going to help you to take the accurate decisions. So that is all about, so that can be possible with the help of the data science. So I was talking about so the growth of data and how the advances in the technology is going to help us to store huge amount of data. Now just come to the formal definition of data science. I just has given some simple definition of data science. The data science is nothing but taking the decision at right time. So that as I already mentioned, so every one of us in this webinar are the data scientists by default. But so let me add some official definition of what is data science. Now you can see the data science as a two words. One is the data and the other one is the science. What is data? So data generally exists basically in the three different formats. One is unstructured data. So when I say the unstructured data, if you open your mobile device, let's say for example, if you open your WhatsApp, it contains a lot of images, audios, videos, and text data. So generally that is not properly arranged. So those kind of data, what we call it as an unstructured data. And another kind of data is called semi-structured data. So if you look at the semi-structured data, HTML pages or your JSON files. So basically, which are arranged with the help of some less than or greater than symbols. And those kind of data, what we call it as semi-structured data. Another type of data is what we call structured data. You can think about the structured data exists in the form of an Excel spreadsheet, which has proper rows and columns. So for example, what is the ID, name, is, program. So by looking at the structured data, you can get some meaningful insights on that. But when you look at unstructured data and semi-structured data, so you need to have some tools to know some information about those data. So basically, these are all the data. So when I say the data, it's nothing but it all contains some kind of information. So what is the information? So if you look at the unstructured data, it has some images. So when you go and open these images, you will come to know what image talks about. Right? That is the kind of information or the knowledge that you can get it from this data. But when you have the huge amount of data, I know, so it is very difficult for the human to extract all the useful information. Now, where can we find this data? So the best example is from our mobile devices. You can get the complete unstructured data. And for the working professionals, we have the like database storage systems wherein you can get proper structured data and also the semi-structured data. And if you want to get the data, so even you can perform some kind of surveys or you can perform some kind of experiments and you can get the data and you can just keep it with you. So now you understand what is data and you also know that how to get this data and where can you get the data. So what next? So after getting the data, you need to just have a look at it. So what is there inside the data? So that means like how to explore it. The one way is you can just simply look at your data and you can just make some kind of visuals, what it look like. When I say the visuals in the just previous slides, I have given one graph, which generally says the relationship between the cost per GB and the growth of data. So with the help of those visuals, you can able to understand. So is there any relationship between your two variables, that is like cost per GB and the growth of data? So those can be achieved with the help of the visualization. So at the same time, we have the statistical tools that is called like descriptive analytics and exploratory data analysis. So it's all about data. So what is the second term? Science, right? So probably you all heard about the science from our childhood. So to make you understand, science is nothing but it is helping us to uncover the hidden truth things. What does it mean is in this universe, there is a huge amount of information that is already exist. So we are not going to invent the new things or we are not going to create something else. So it is already there, but we are working very hard. So what is there in the universe? Let's say, for example, if you take the scientist, Isaac Newton. So he come up with one of the powerful physical law that is called gravitational forces. So once he come up with the physical law that is called gravitational forces, the complete technology, which is right, so evolving around this gravitational forces, and which eventually leads us to lead a proper quality life. Here also, the science is going to help us from the available data. So is something I misread that I could not able to find it with the help of my eyes or with the help of my human brain. So is that possible to extract the useful information? And that is going to help me to further improve my business if it comes to the business people, or if it comes to the individual, how can I'm going to improve quality of my life? So this is the place where science is going to help us to extract the useful information from the data, right? And okay, now you have taken the decision. So how should I believe you? So the decision what you have taken, whether it is it can be trust or cannot be trust. For that, we have the mathematics, or we have the different tools, and also we have the engineering. Like I hope many of you guys are from various backgrounds. I am assuming that you guys are from engineering background, science background, and medical background, management and financial backgrounds. So let me give you a simple example of the guys who are from the engineering background. So probably what we have done during the engineering. So we have done a lot of experiments and we are trying to prove the science, right? Here also with the help of science, whatever you have come up with the knowledge from the data. Now I wanted to prove it. So if I want to prove it, I need to engineer my data. So if I want to do engineering my data, I need some kind of mathematics. So when I say the mathematics, it's a simple statistics and linear algebra is going to help me. The decision what you have taken is right or wrong. So in that way, you will be very confident about the type of decision what you have taken. Okay? So I hope by this you are all clear about what is data science and all. Now let me just give you some kind of the practical examples of where you can apply your data science techniques, or if you have the data and from the data, what type of benefits that you can get it. Okay, if you look at in this slide, so the left-hand plot, which tells us that in the sports, right? So the best example in the sports is what you can do is you can collect all the data by attaching sensors to the player, and once he does some game or he does some kind of exercise and all, so it is going to capture all of your data points. And if you can provide your data to your coach, right? So he is going to analyze the data. Based on the data, he is going to assess your performance. Based on the performance, he is going to take the decision who is the right player for a right game at right place. Right? So in this way, even if you look at our Indian cricket team or maybe the football team, so all the coaches are nowadays started analyzing their past data and current data, and for them it is helping them to choose the right player so that there is a high probability of winning the games. So that is the one way, like which is the hardest area. Many coaches are using collecting the data from their players. And if you are from, let's say for example, financial background, right? So for them it is really helpful them. It is all about the sales projection, right? So let's say for example, if on a marketing team and you wanted to know, so what would be the sales which are going to be happening in another 1 month? If you could able to uh, forecast or the predict the number of sales which are going to be happening in upcoming month, right? So based on that, you can adjust your business strategies at this time, and it is eventually going to yield the very good profits, right? So how it is going to be happen? It is again going to be happen based on the past data. For example, if you take the Amazon or the Flipkart, you know, so every Diwali, their sales are going to be hitting the peaks. How do they do not? So during only festival season, so the sales are going to be happen very huge because they have seen what has happened in the past. When I say the what was happened in the past, like the past data, based on the past data, they were taking the decision such that they are going to improve the quality of their customers. So they are going to give the smooth transactions or the smooth checkouts or the smooth shopping experience because they know what was happened in the past. So this is another like already used example by many retail companies. And the other thing is, so if you are from the medical research background or science background, so this slide talks about a huge amount of information. On the left-hand side, if you look at the healthcare, you know, nowadays the WHO is giving strict instructions to many hospitals because nowadays many of the people are suffering from various cancers. So, you know, for each type of cancer, there is a separate treatment. So now, how the doctors are going to confirm you that whether a particular patient has a cancer A or cancer B or cancer C? So by simply looking at this MRI images or this kind of images, you know, so if you look at these kind of images, sometimes for the doctors, it is very, very difficult to discriminate what type of cancer he is having. And you know, it's a kind of life and death phenomenon, right? So if you give the cancer B treatment for the cancer A patient, so ultimately it is useless, and so eventually it is going to be loss of a life. In this scenario, if you can apply the data science technique on these kind of images, it is going to help you to take the accurate decision, and that accurate decision is going to help you, the doctor, to take the proper treatment, right? So in this way, the data is going to help you to take the right decision. So in all these examples, the ultimate aim is to take the right decision from the available data. But the thing is how to take the right decision, I'm going to talk about in the upcoming slides. And another famous practical example of this data science application is heart attack detection. So probably you might be reading nowadays in the newspapers and all, hey, that guy is saved from because of his, the smartwatches. What the smartwatch does is, the smartwatch is keep on monitoring your health conditions. Let's say, for example, what would be your temperature, the oxygen levels, the BP, heart rate, everything and all. It is trying to monitor, and it is storing all the information. And whenever it sees some kind of abnormalities, let's say, for example, my heart rate is like 72 times per minute, and suddenly if it is shoots up either 200 or 30, it is immediately going to give an alarm to your family doctor. And yeah, so there it is going to help you to save your life, right? So again, how it is happening? Because of your smartwatch. Again, what is smartwatch? Smartwatch is trying to capture all of your health details in the form of a data that is stored in your device. That device is going to alarm you if something abnormalities are going to be happen. And another example of this data science technique is prediction of the stock prices. I hope this is very favorite for many of you guys, because what it does is, if you can able to predict what would be the price of a particular share market or particular share, maybe tomorrow, you can take the right entry and right exit so that you can optimize your profits. By looking at this plot, this is about like some gold and silver prices in the past years, and based on this information, what is the actual, and if you can able to train your models to match with your actuals in the past, and it is very easy to predict what is going to be happen in the future. When I say the future, what is going to be happen in next 1 hour, and what is going to be happen in the next 1 day, and what is going to be happen in the next 1 month. So it is going to help various peoples like the investors and traders. Again, so how it can be possible? Because they have already the past data. If they have the past data, that is going to help them how to take the proper decision in the future. Whether is it the right time to enter, or is it the right time to exit? Let's say, for example, if you look at this plot, right? So this is the right time to entry, and this is the right time to exit, so that you can optimize your profits. And another best example is if you are from the engineering background, right? So this is the best example. So nowadays, if you want to rescue someone who trapped in some fire and all, it is very difficult for the human to go inside and to save them. Now, what we are doing is we are using the drones. So what the drone does is, drone is having the high resolution camera, and it is going to see what are the different objects which are there in the file, and it is going to help the rescue team the exact location of the object. When I say the object, the human. So this is the human. And with the help of this object detection technique, the rescue team can able to save the lives of the humans who trapped in this fire. Right. So these are the many and many examples. So these are ultimately going to help us to improve the quality of our life. Right. So these are the few examples. I hope it is clear for everyone. Now let me jump into how to take the decision. So I just have given what is data and what is science and what are the few applications of the data science in the various fields. When I say the fields, the medical sciences, engineering background, the management, the financial background, or if you're from a sports background or the political sciences background. So how it is helping us. But the thing is, by what you are able to take the decision. So you must take some help, right? So if you want your work to be done, obviously you need some help from someone else. Here, the help from someone else is called the machine learning algorithms. When I say the machine learning algorithm is nothing but, rather than taking decision by you, your devices or your machines are going to take the decisions based on the history. So now there is no manual intervention, and your devices are going to give you the proper decision, so that it is going to optimize what is your objective, right? And basically, all the machine learning algorithms can be categorized into 4 different ways. And before that, okay, let me give you what is machine learning, right? Machine learning. You might be wondering, so how a machine can learn? So to make it very simple, just think machine as just baby born, okay? Baby, just born baby boy. After 6 months, he just start crawling, and then after a few months, he just started sitting, standing, running, and walking, right? So how or she is running or walking or crawling with the help of their parents or the guardians. So they are there, they are helping them. So this is the way how you need to stand, how you need to walk, and how you need to run. So we are training our kids, or we are teaching them. So this is the way. So once it is done, we are just keeping them in the schools. So again in the schools, the teachers are going to teach them so how to behave and how to get the knowledge. So that is the complete process. Here also in the machine learning lingo, the machines are also trained by the humans initially by feeding the data. Right? So we are telling my machine, so this is what happened in the past. Just try to learn it. And in the future, if something is going to be happen, or if you are going to see something which happened in the past, just take those kind of decision. Because I'm a human, I could not able to memorize all the decisions, and I cannot able to take some complex decision whenever there are some kind of uncertainties. So this is the place where your machines are going to be learn the complex information, and it is going to help you to take the proper decisions. So these are the various techniques like supervisor learning, unsupervised learning, semi-supervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Supervised learning is nothing but, so you know what is your exact problem, and you are trying to solve that particular problem by using various techniques. Let's say, for example, if you are in a bank manager and someone comes and apply for a loan, the thing is, the ultimate aim of the bank manager's role is whether he wants to approve the loan or he wants to reject the loan. So here the objective is to approve or not to approve. So those kind of problems will fall under the category of supervised machine learning area. So there are many examples like classification and regression problems, like support vector machine, decision trees. There are many. And another area of machine learning is unsupervised machine learning problem, wherein you don't know what you want to do. So you are unclear about what is your business problem. Let's say, for example, if you want to correlate with your real time, let's say, for example, you just go to the market and you bought all the vegetables, fruits, and household items and groceries, and you bought everything in a bucket and you just give it to your family members, right? So what they do, So they are just simply going to make some kind of groups. Let's say, for example, these are the fruits, they'll keep at some place, and these are the vegetables, they'll keep at some other place. Or if it is the perishable things, they'll keep it in the refrigerator, and non-perishable things, they'll keep at some other places. In this example, the person who bought all these things is not at all going to tell the family member, you do these things and all, right? So those kind of problems can be solved by using the unsupervised machine learning algorithms. Sometimes your business doesn't know what to do with this, what to do with your data. In those scenarios, if you can apply unsupervised data science techniques, it is going to help them to take some actionable decision, right? Another thing is like semi-supervised learning. In the semi-supervised learning, it's a kind of mixture of both supervised and unsupervised. Sometimes your data contains what you are trying to solve it, and sometimes your data doesn't contain what you are trying to solve it. In those scenarios, if you can use the semi-supervised learning techniques, it is going to help you to solve your business problem. And another area of machine learning is reinforcement learning. So probably you people might heard about the Tesla. So they already started using they already started manufacturing and deploying the autonomous vehicles. When I say the autonomous vehicles, there is no driver. The car itself drives on its own way, and it takes the decisions. So by pedaling the accelerators and by taking the left or right. So though if you want to solve those kind of problems, so this is the place where you are going to apply the reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is one of the popular technique nowadays. So most probably we all as a humans, we are using the reinforcement learning. Reinforcement learning is nothing but if you see something and immediately you are taking the decision. If your decision is in favor to you, you keep on using the same decision. If the decision is not favor to you, you are going to change your decision. So that is like a simple learning approach in the reinforcement learning. So this is like, all about the machine learning. With the help of machine learning, you can solve the various the problems that I just discussed in the previous slides. And, so you know that what is the data science, and what are the various business applications and how the data science is going to help them to take the right decisions with the help of the various data science techniques that is called machine learning. Now, to club all of these things and to make a proper structure, right? So how it starts, right? By this time, you might be understand that you need the data. So the data is exist in various databases. Once you have the data, the next thing is you need to just clean it, right? You try to correlate it. Once if you buy some vegetables or fruits, what you do, you are just simply cleaning, right? Why you are cleaning? So that you are going to just remove all the unwanted things. Here also, once if you have the data, you are going to just clean it, which is not necessary for you. But with the help of, again, various mathematical tools, you will come to know what is required and what is not required. The next thing is, once if you have the cleaned data and you are going to label your data set. When I say the labeling your data set is, let's say, for example, if you take the banking example, for the bank manager, he wants to take the decision of whether to approve the loan or not to approve the loan. So your approve and not to approve are the labelings. Let's say, for example, there is a person X. For him, previously, I have rejected the loan because his credit score was very bad. So this is the kind of labeling my data, right? So once I have labeled my data, now what is the next step is, I wanted to even still remove the insignificant information from my data. So here, what is the insignificant information from your data is, so again, these are some kind of hypothetical examples. If I take a human, for the human, what are the important, like one should have so that he can just lead his life? One is if he has the proper hands, legs, ears, and eyes, right? So these are the few things with which he can able to lead his life, even though he has some body pains or some wounds on his body and all. So it doesn't impact significantly on the quality of the life, right? So here also, when I consider the data, I'm just going to consider what is the significant information. With the help of that significant information, how I'm going to take the proper decision. So if you keep on adding the more and more information to your data, it is going to be more complicated. So everyone wants to be their life to be as simple as possible. Here in the data science also, if you have the data, you always want to keep your data as simple as possible, and you don't want to make it very complicated. So that step is going to be happen in the feature selection. So once it is done, you need to apply for the various learning techniques. When I say the learning techniques, right? Let's say, for example, if you have a kid, so the learning technique would be different. And if you have a like adult, so you are going to keep him in some kind of the colleges, right? In the engineering colleges or some kind of other colleges, the learning technique would be different, right? So it all depends upon what type of learning that a particular individual wants. Here also, what is your business objective? Based on that, you are going to choose a particular type of the learning technique. Here it could be supervised learning, or the unsupervised learning, or the semi-supervised learning. So once the learning is done, right, now I wanted to assess my model, right? The similar way, if you take any student, he has the internal exams and external exams. In the internal exams, so we are like, we are just assessing in the local level by providing proper knowledge. But if I really want to assess him, so I'm just going to send him for the competitive exams. Now I'll come to know whether he has properly gained the knowledge or not. Here also, once if your model is ready, now what you need to do is you want to assess your model, right? So that all happen in the model optimization technique. The model optimization technique is going to help you to take the proper decision, right? Which ultimately going to yield the right strategies for your business. So this is like in very simple terms, this is the process flow. What is happening in the data science? And now, if you want to become a successful research data scientist, and what are the steps that you need to do that? The first and foremost thing is, you are in a position to ask the right question to your business people. If someone comes and says, hey, I have this problem, so can you solve it? Right? The first step is you need to ask them, what is your problem? And why do I want to solve your problem? What is the benefit if I solve this problem to your business? Right? That is the very first step. If you can able to understand what exactly is the business problem, and if you can able to frame that business problem, right? So almost 50% of your work is done. The key point in the data science is, what is your business problem? So for that, you can spend a huge amount of time. You can ask them right questions. Why do you want it? And what are the benefits that you get it if I solve it? So once that step is done, right? What is the next step? Ultimately, you need the data, right? Until unless if you don't have data, you can't solve anything. So you're going to ask them, could you please provide me the data? What are you having till now? So they are going to provide you, this is my current data and my past data. So please take it, right? So this happened from the data acquisition phase. Once if you have the data, the next step is you need to just prepare the data such that now it is ready to be trained. So those things be done in the data preparation part. So in the data preparation part, you are going to use the mathematics, statistical tool, and various programming languages that could be either Python or MATLAB, C. So those are all going to help you to prepare your data so that now it is ready to be learned by using various machine learning algorithms. So once your data preparation is done, now you need to just start your model planning. When I say the model planning, it could be a supervised machine learning algorithm or semi-supervised machine learning algorithm or unsupervised machine learning algorithm. So this is the place where you are going to make it very fast. And another thing is like model building process. The model building process is, once if you finalize your model, you are going to train your model. So it is going to train. When I say the training, it is going to extract all the useful information. So once it is trained, you are going to visualize it and you are going to communicate, yes, this is my result. And whenever you see these kind of problems in the future, you take these kind of decisions. So you are going to communicate all of your results with your business people. Once it is done, you are going to deploy it into your website. So this is the complete skill that you need to be expertise so that you will become the successful research data scientist. Right? So now, yeah. So this is like simple case study. So basically, this is one of the important area wherein many of people are like suffering from various health issues and all. Now, so due to shortage of the doctors, so probably in the various geographic locations, for them it is very difficult to provide quality treatment to all the patients and all. So what they have done is they have deployed the robots. Now robots have the sufficient intelligence so that they can take the proper actions and all. So how the robots are going to take the proper actions, especially in the case of a surgery, so there is always a difference between if a doctor cuts a particular body part and if a robot cuts a particular body part. So if a doctor cuts a body part, there is always certain kind of deviations. Like there could be some maximum cut or minimum cut, and is going to disturb that particular body part and all. But if you deploy your robots, it is going to take the right decision and where to cut and how much amount of the body cut or how much amount of the tissue can be cut at your particular body location and all, right? So how it is going to be happen, you know? So for that, the initially for the robot, we are going to provide all the images and the past history of the patient. So that we have seen in the earlier slides, the MRI scanning images and the past history of the data to the robot. And what it does is, it is now intelligent enough. It is going to choose which kind of technique to be used. And the next step is, at the same time, I'm going to integrate my doctor as well, but the intervention of doctor would be is here very minimal. With the help of robot and doctor, so I'm going to perform the surgery. And again, in the surgery, there are various things like preoperative decision support, inoperative assistance, and robot assisted actions. So these are all the various steps which are going to be happen from beginning to the end. So for the beginning to the end, so we are going to provide the data and your robot is going to take the actions. So whether I need to go in this direction or in this direction or in this direction. So this is like nowadays in the Europe and US, like many of the hospitals are deploying the robots and all. Now it is like getting success, and there is huge amount of research still left further to deploy the robots to diagnose various diseases as well. Right. So this is like simple use case, and let me just give you another simple, a hands-on example. So let me share my screen. One second.
Hello, guys. This is Naveen from SkillUpRight team. So while Venkat is trying to share another example, just wanted to inform you guys that at the end of the webinar, you will get a survey link. So your feedback is very important for us. We want to improve our webinar things. So if you can help me out with your feedback, that will be really a great help so that we can keep fine tuning our webinars and keep improving the webinar delivery for you guys. Thank you.
Thanks,
Over to you.
Yeah, I hope now you all can able to see my screen, right? So you can able to see my Jupyter notebook. Maybe Naveen or Vinod, can you confirm? Yes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, actually, this is the one of the simplest example that is like prediction of the particular share. So here I wanted to predict what would be the price of my Google equity share price in the next 20 hours or in the next 20 days. So how I'm going to apply my data science techniques over here. Like as I mentioned, to become a successful data scientist, you must need the data, and at the same time you need some kind of tools. When I say the tools could be the programming languages. Here I'm using the Python programming language, and other thing is I'm using a little bit of the mathematics and various machine learning algorithms. The first step is I'm just going to use my Python. This is my Python Jupyter interface. I'm going to import what are the important packages to be used. Then I'm going to get my data. So my data, this is how it looks like. So for the share, what is its opening price and what is its high, low, close, and what is the volume. So based on this information, I wanted to predict or I wanted to forecast what would be the price of my equity share in the next 20 hours or in the next 1 hour. So that is my business objective, right? So now by this, now I have my data and my understanding with my business problem. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since my data is very cleaned, okay, so I'm assuming my data is very cleaned. Now I'm going to use some part of my data for the learning purpose, right? So let's say for example, I have the 100 data points. I'm going to use 70 data points as my training data set. And I'm just training. So try to learn more and more knowledge from my data points. And remaining 30 data points, I'm using it for the evaluation. Like as I mentioned, how should I trust whether a particular machine human has taken the decision? How should I trust? So the trust happens from the evaluation. For the evaluating, the evaluation has been done on the test data. So I'm now defining my train data, and I'm going to do some kind of feature engineering on it. So nothing but I'm doing some kind of min-max scaling so that I'm not biased on my data and any of my feature is not dominating other features. And here now I'm going to build my machine learning model. When I say that build my machine learning model is, I'm saying to my machine, this is my past data and try to learn. So how was its price when it is opened at a particular price and what was its value? So for that, I'm using one of the latest deep learning technique that is called LSTM, long short-term memory data science technique. So with which I'm just training my model. After training my model, I'm going to now evaluate it. So in the future, how it is going to perform. So I'm just going to perform it. Right now I'm at this time and I wanted to predict in the next 18 hours. So how my price is going to be fluctuated or how my price is going to be happen. So if you look at, this is my actual price and the blue colored one is my predicted stock price, right? So if you can look at here, now almost my predictions as well as my actual are the close by, right? So this is the like simplest example. Now, if you want to further improve these predictions, there are different techniques and you can add more and more data or you can come up with different machine learning algorithm, right? So in this way, once if you get the data and you can evaluate it and you can use your final model in the decision making process, right? So here I'm going to take my decision whether I wanted to hold my stocks or I wanted to exit it. If I want to exit, so what is the best price? So this is the best price I can exit so that I can optimize my profits, right? So this is a simplest use case. Yeah, so this is all about guys. So about the simple case study and the hands-on stock price prediction. And before going to have a Q&A, so I would like to inform you, we are going to have a separate demo session on this 18th March from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. So wherein, so you can get more and more information like some technical details, everything and all. Since it is in a webinar session, I could not able to go much in-depth details of technicalities. And the regular session starts from 20th March, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Indian time, it's like IST. Thank you all. So thanks for your patience. And if you have any queries, maybe I think this is the time we can discuss them. Yes, Nitish. Naveen, now audience can able to unmute themselves or so they can still use the chat box.
Raise their hands, we can unmute them.
Okay,
Otherwise,
I
they
think
can. It's better that they use the chat section so that people will get the time to
okay.
Yeah, just
Is
one
there any?
question. So predictions, right? These can be like the example that you shared, right?
Right.
The stock price, right?
Yes, Nitish. Yeah,
So this is upon the data that you already have, right?
exactly. Right.
Right, but there will be a lot of external factors. Let's take an example, recent example, right?
Yeah.
Let's say on 3/15 you have published this, right? Let's say.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know what are the external market things are happening, right? Let's say on the next day, like as Google did, right? They're reducing the headcount.
Right.
That will impact your stock price.
Exactly.
Right? That is the external parameter.
Right.
This is one of the parameters that I told you, right?
Exactly.
There can be various other parameters, like government is announcing something.
Right.
Right? So how are you gonna
take care of this kind of problems, right?
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I think that
these are the main things, right?
exactly. You are right. Yeah, since as I mentioned, it's a kind of simple use case. If you look at my data, currently I have considered only these 4 factors. But as you mentioned, yes, you are exactly right. So we must include the external factors. So in that case, I'm going to add some more data, right? With the help of this data, my predictions are not that much accurate. If you see, so if you want to get the more and more accurate predictions, I'm going to add more and more data. The data could be like external factors. Let's say, for example, today evening. So there is some data which is going to be released in the USA. Now, how do I know the data is going to be released today? Because from the past, like every Wednesday, so during this time, this data is going to be coming. So last week, so what was the data? Is it positive or negative? Today also, after releasing the data, I'm going to consider this factor as well. Or if I want to predict what is going to be happen after release of the data, I'll be considering my past data, my past external factors, right? And the similarly like RBI guidelines, so they also used to release on every quarterly basis, right? So I'm
Right.
going to use some kind of seasonality also. So what was happened in the past quarter? So by keeping those things in my mind, I'll be training my model, and I'm assuming that okay, my decisions are going to be very clear. Maybe tomorrow also that RBI is going to take the same kind of decisions, right? So there also I'm going to build a separate model, right? For the stock price, stock price predictions, I have the separate model, and what is the RBI governor is going to tell us tomorrow. So for that also I have the separate model. Now I'm going to combine both, and I can get the more accurate results. So like to summarize it, if you have the more and more data, you can add them and you can train them. So in that way, you can get the accurate results or the accurate, you can take the accurate decision as well. So I
Okay.
hope it is clear. I think someone is asking Vijay Kumar. So any other skills required other than Python? Yeah, so actually Python is a programming language. So actually to become a data scientist, there are many multiple languages which are available, but many of the business people are using the Python. There also like you can use the R programming language as well. So that is comes to the programming language, but it comes to the other skills. You must have some kind of mathematics. When I say the mathematics, statistics, probability, and linear algebra. So these three are very crucial to become a successful data scientist, and you can solve any kind of business problem. And I think Satya is asking one question: how is data transformed, and how can it affects learning? Yeah, one best example is, let's say, for example, you want to participate in weightlifting category. Like there is like under 50, under 60, under 60 kilos, under 70 kilos, right? Let's say, for example, if you try to put a guy who is having the 70 kilos weight into the under 50 kilo weight category, so obviously he is going to be the winner, right? So you must take certain necessary action. So you must transform your data, right? So you cannot blindly keep the 70 kilos weight guy into the under 50 kilo weight. You need to transform him. So when I say the transform, you ask that guy reduce his weight, come below 50, and go to that particular category, right? So in that way, it is going to help you out. If you don't do the transformation, it is going to lead the very bad results. I think someone is asking Bella Prakash. R used only old projects, right? Python is for the present industry standards. No, it's not like that. So you can use either R, Python. There are many languages like C, C++, Java, MATLAB, many. But why Python is used is because many of the people are using the Python. That is the only reason. But it's up to you. If you are comfortable with R, you can use the R. So whatever you do with the Python also can be done by using the R. So Python is just one of the programming language. That's all. So with the help of Python is not the only programming language. Okay, that is one of the programming language. Without Python, is there any way to learn data science? Is there any codeless tools? Yeah, but so at least you must have some kind of basic knowledge of programming language. So nowadays, like AWS, Microsoft Azure. So without coding, also you can solve many of your business problems. But it is always advisable to have some knowledge about your programming. So when I say the programming, it's a very minimal knowledge is required. I see data science is applicable in the fields of finance, medical supply chain. How is relevant in the telecom? Yeah, I think telecom is like one of the boom area. Let's say, for example, if you want to identify the customer churners, right? Let's say, for example, right now I'm in India, so I'm using the Geo services. Let's say, for example, I don't like the Geo services and I wanted to move to the Airtel services. Now, for the Geo business people, in advance, they wanted to know who are going to be the potential churners. Churners in a sense, who are going to leave their network and they are going to move to the competitor. So if they can able to identify in advance, or if they can able to predict in advance, they can stop their customers, right? So they can hold them back. So there are like many and many examples in the telecom industry. To make it very simple, as long as you have the data, irrespective of your business, you can apply the data science techniques.
Just one question I'll answer.
Yeah.
So somebody is asking, where can I get the link to register for the demo? So the demo is on Saturday and the main session will start from Monday. So the demo link, once you webinar is ended, you will get a survey question. In that, you need to fill your name, email ID, and number. And one of our representative will share all the details like course coverage details, the link for the demo to attend, and other details, whatever you require, all will be shared with you guys. Okay. And Venkat, there are questions like, is there any prerequisite to learn? And Python is something that they're already asking. Many of them have asked. I think you have answered for that. So, I mean, is there any prerequisite that they require to answer to learn data science?
Yeah, actually, as of now, so you don't require any like technical knowledge, but the prerequisites in terms of the hardware, like you must have the laptops which at least have 8 GB RAM and some kind of memory. And during the course, so like we'll be teaching everything from the scratch, like assuming that you have the zero knowledge. So you don't require any prerequisites as such. And I think Kairul has asked one very good question. The question is data science can predict unpredictable event like natural disaster or sudden shift in the market? Yeah, see, so there is always a certain kind of uncertainties always. Even humans also cannot. But the thing is, unpredictable things can be predicted, but something which has not happened in the past, that is not going to be predicted in the future. So the data science, what it does is maybe what has happened in the past 1,000 years, and if something is going to be happen in the future, certainly it is going to help you. If something like kind of a corona, right? So those are no one predicted, right? So now going forward, so something which related to the disease. So certainly data science is going to help you. So you are going to get this kind of diseases and all. Yeah. And Yasin, so can you explain?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. There are two questions. Yasin's question. Before that, I think we have a question. As a beginner, what would you suggest data analyst to or for I think it's for for data scientists to switch the current profile?
Okay. Actually, here I would like to give you, there is a small difference between the data analyst and data scientist. So actually, data analyst role would be just to understand the data, right? So you are getting the data and you are just cleaning it and what was there in the data. But as a data scientist, you are going to predict what is going to be happening in the future, right? So if you become the data scientist, it means you are like you are going to even cover the data analyst role as well. I hope that is clear, Suyok. I think Yasin. Yeah. So can you explain correct or best roadmap on how to become a successful data scientist? Yeah. So to make it very simple, if you want to become a successful data scientist, you must have a questioning skills. If you have questioning skills at right time, then you become the very great data scientist. So in every aspect, you keep on asking the question. That's all. So in the roadmap also I have shown various milestones, right? At each milestone, you keep on ask the question. Yeah, you will get the good outcome. Alagiri, so can you share any recent advancements in the explainable? Yeah. Okay. See, one of the thing is, in the data science, we do have the two categories. One is the machine learning and deep learning. So basically, if you use the machine learning, so it is very easy for you why a particular decision has been taken. And sometimes few of your machine learning algorithms cannot able to learn or cannot able to predict the outcomes very accurately. In those scenarios, what you can do is you are going with the different algorithms. That is called deep learning algorithms. When I say the deep learning algorithm, neural networks. So generally, neural networks are going to give the very good results, but you don't have any answer. So why you have taken a particular decision? So if you want to, if you want to make a reverse engineering, so you don't have a particular decision. If you want to explain to your business people, so that is the area where you can use the explainable artificial intelligence. So there are different techniques. As an example, you just take the stock price predictions. I'm using the LSTM model, long short-term memory model, which is a kind of a deep learning algorithm. It just tell you what would be the price, but it doesn't tell you why the price would be. So in those scenarios, the XA will help you. So because of these external factors and this value, and so I'm predicting this would be the price. I think I'll agree. Fine. Okay, maybe could you please Tell some samples, transform data around EDA. Yeah, there are many examples. So you can do some kind of power transformations. So you can just squaring or square root of your data so that you are bringing all of your data into the same scale, like standardization, right? If you want, you can create the new features. There are many things you can use that. Is the data science help to chemical scientists to climb up in career parallelly with learning ML? Excellent. Actually, these are the growing areas. Like when I say the science background, like chemical guys or chemical scientist people or physical scientist people. So for them, it is very important to come up with the right composition of various chemicals, right? So that they can come up with the proper drugs. Let's say, for example, I wanted to come up with a proper drug for the coronavirus, right? So drug is nothing but it's a kind of composition of various chemicals, right? So that will be taken care by the chemical scientist. The chemical scientists know how to apply the various data science techniques. For them, it is very easy to come up with the effective drug. It is going to diagnose various patients. I hope Kairul that helps you.
Venkat, I think there is one more question. Nishan, is the course will cover all the things like maths, programming, programming language,
Exactly,
etc.
exactly. Yeah, the course is going to be covered all the concepts. And if you want to keep, let's say, for example, the course is going to help you if you have the fresher and until at least 9 years of experience. So I have prepared my curriculum such that if you have the 9 years of experience completely into the data scientist, or if you have the fresher, so it is going to help the 0 to 9 years of experience band. Thanks, Nishan. What are the gradual steps to end up with the data scientists with the time frame? Actually, so that is kind of in a subjective. It depends upon the type of the business problem that you are going to solve it. Sometimes few problems can be solved within a month. Sometimes some problems can go like years and years. Actually, I'm working on one problem. So I have been working on a problem since last 9 years. So there is always some kind of an incremental improvement to my model performance. So in those scenarios, we need to come up with the various algorithms and all. So it completely depends upon your business use case. So I think Kyril, that is what you are asking, or okay. No, Venkatesh Patola. So that is a kind of a confidential thing. But at least I can give you area which is into the cloud computing. Maybe at least I can give the cloud computing because sometimes you have the like edge devices. Let's say, for example, Raspberry Pi. So which have the limited computational resources. So hardly it has the 1 GB RAM, and the amount of data what you are getting is in terms of the hundreds and hundreds of GB. So if you have the hundreds and hundreds of GB, so you need to send data to the cloud. Then you have to do all the processing and send it back. Right. By the time, sometimes the decision making process is going to be delayed. The best example is in the slides I have mentioned. If you want to rescue the guys who trapped in the fire, right? So if the drone is keep on capturing all the images and it is sending it to the cloud and it is processing, and by the time, so you are going to lose the life, right? So in those scenarios, you need to do everything there and there itself in the drone itself, right? So what is the course duration? I think, yeah, so we are going to provide the course duration would be, 50 days, and course details and are all going to be shared later after this webinar session.
Don't get surprised, it is 50 days. I mean, it's just 1 hour is the session what we do so that you can go back, practice, and come back next day with a fresh mind, and whatever you have learned, you can practice and come back. So that's why it is 50 days, 1 hour each day, 50 hours basically. So Ajay, just leave your name, number. We will share the details after the webinar. Once you close it, I think once you leave, click on the leave button, you should get a survey, but survey questions. There you should leave your name, number. There's a question which asks your name, email ID, and number. If you leave those details, we'll be sharing all the required details for you guys. Kanishka, the course charges also will be mentioned. Once if you leave your name, email ID, and number, all those things will be shared. Any other questions? We're almost 5 minutes. Actually, we have short 5 minutes or minutes over 4-5 now. We had scheduled it for till 4 p.m. If any more questions are there, we can take it up. We can keep it up. Venkat, are you okay if we can?
Yeah, I'm
keep
okay.
It?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. So if they have any questions, I'm okay to answer them.
We can be, if there is any question, we can be for 5 more minutes till 4:10. It's 4:05 now. Sure, Kanishka, thanks. We'll let you know about it. So people are asking about the recording. So what happens is recording tomorrow, you should be able to receive. You will be receiving an email. If not, on our website, there is a webinar tab. If you click there, if you scroll a bit down, there are all the recordings are available. You can go and check that. So today it will not be available because it will get processed for some time. So tomorrow, anyhow, you'll be getting an email. No more questions. People are just thanking for the session, delivered by Venkat.
Thank you all. So thanks for your time.
Okay.
And
I believe that there are no more questions. Okay, so maybe we'll wrap up. Okay, there is one more question. Millie Singh, can a tester learn data science?
yes, anyone can learn. Yeah. So nowadays all the organizations started. So as per my knowledge, when I say the testing, there could be two types of testing. One is the manual testing and automation testing. So even though it is automation or manual, so always there is an human intervention is required. So now what we are doing is we are coming up with the text analytics, like as I mentioned in the unstructured data. So the unstructured data which deals with your test logs and all. So which is going to help you why a particular test has been failed, right? So if you're an already tester, then for you it is very easy, and you can just start your career as a test data scientist, maybe test analyst, data scientist, yeah, some other designation. I think there is someone raised a hand. Okay, Millie Singh, yeah. Yes, Millie Singh. So I unmuted you.
Hi, Venkat.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, well, I am actually a software tester and I know automation and manual. So, I was little bit confused about whether it's good for me to start with the data science and to build up a career. So, whether I need to get a fresh start or it's a completely different career or it's going to be also useful in my previous career, because from past 12 years I'm in IT sector and I am working as a software tester.
Okay. Yeah, Millie, the thing is, it's not going to be a separate stream again. It's not going to be a separate career as well. So
Okay.
like as I mentioned, so for everyone, irrespective of their current role, so probably they are all like somehow they're trying to solve some kind of business problem, right? If you are a tester, whether it is automation testing or manual testing, your
Right.
role would be you are trying to solve some kind of problem. That's all, right? If you want to just going through some log files, if some failure occurs, and you are just doing some kind of clustering or segregation, something and all, right? So now what you can do is with the help of this data science, and you already have the domain knowledge. When I say the domain knowledge is you already have the testing knowledge.
Right.
So with the help of testing knowledge, you are just your testing knowledge only, you are enhancing your testing knowledge with the data science. So now, like without compromising on your past experience, right? You are going to be in the same field, but as a data scientist, and you are going to solve all of your existing problems using the various data science techniques in that way.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Because one more question. I mean, it's not complete, but I think they have asked because something we answered for that. I think they have replied. Is our previous experience counted? Then is there what they're asking?
Exactly. Of course. So as I mentioned, data science is not a separate career. It is an enhancement to your existing career. That's all. It's completely an enhancement. It is going to added value. Because as I
This question should be, I think, because they're worried about their, the salary structure will remain the same, or they will.
No, never. So the salary section and all, it is completely going to be different. So they are going to consider you as a data scientist with additional domain knowledge, right?
Any more questions, guys? I mean, we are like 4:10. Any question, one or two questions, maybe we can take up. If there are no questions, maybe we can wrap up. Okay, I think there are no more questions. When we extended 5 more minutes, it's already 4:11 now. But Venkat, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule and coming down and delivering a wonderful session. I think people have liked the session and they have given a good feedback. I mean, in terms, many people have thanked you, especially and people have told wonderful session also. So looks like the webinar has been accepted by the participants also. They have liked and we have a good participation also. So thank you once again, Venkat, for all the time and effort you took to deliver such a wonderful session.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you very much, Naveen. And the participants, thank you very much for you. I hope so it's very clear for everyone. And I really like the type of questions you come up with. Yeah, so keep it up, guys. So wish you all the best. Yeah, so if you have anything, so please try to reach SkillUpRight. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Leave your name and number in the survey question. All the details will be answered. And for the demo also for Saturday, if you want to join, all those details will be shared. Right. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for joining, being a wonderful participants. We'll be conducting many more webinars like this, so you can be part of it. Looking forward for you people to come and join our webinars. So till then, thank you. Have a nice evening ahead and also a nice week ahead.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.